Hi guys, how are you? Welcome to Loving Life podcast with myself, Carol McGee, and also the lovely
Debbie Colins.
And so today we've got a special guest coming in, and so this is more like a real life story, something that's currently ongoing, and so we're going to discuss Helen's life right now. So this is Helen. Welcome to the podcast, Helen.
How you doing, Carol?
So we're good. So I met you through my job online. So I always find a lot of people and a lot of interesting, sometimes harrowing stories because of what I do as a psychic medium within social media and everything else. And so I think maybe you come onto one of my online pages. Was it TikTok?
It was,
So you'd come onto TikTok and you were in...
It was a kind of group thing. You were
in my group thing, and you were chatting away to me. And maybe did I give you a message? I can't remember, Helen.
What happened was I joined your live.
All right, okay.
And you gave me a message.
Right,
I was
okay.
a blubbering mess at that point.
Oh. All right, okay.
So and then you had mailed me the next day.
Right.
And I kind of gave you a bit of background, and then you had asked me to come on a
podcast.
Yep.
And that was just before we all went on holiday.
That's
Because
right.
like Debbie went on holiday, then when Debbie came back, I was away on holiday, and then when I come back, you were away on holiday. So it's probably taken us a couple of months to really get you in the studio.
Absolutely.
Aye. But very warm welcome anyway. We've been looking forward to you coming in. Okay. So, you know, your story is you're from Glasgow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Airdrie.
And Airdrie. Let's get it right now, Airdrie. Right, okay, so you're from Airdrie. So tell us a wee bit about yourself, family and stuff.
Well, I've got me and my partner. We've got 7 children.
My God, you got a telly now.
Yes, I've every room to it. So we've got 6 girls and 1 boy.
Okay.
Got 5 grandchildren.
So you're from Airdrie.
Yeah.
You've got 7 kids.
Yeah.
You have a partner, John, is it John?
Yes.
And so you've always stayed in Airdrie, have you?
I have.
And so you've got 7 kids. So we're here today to talk about, is it your oldest daughter?
Yes.
Demi. So Demi's your oldest daughter. And so this is what the story's going to be about today.
Absolutely.
So we're going to cover Demi's life and how she was as a person, and then maybe go into things that happened later on in her life, right? So Demi is your oldest child. Tell us about Demi.
Oh God, where do I start? She was just the most perfect child you could possibly ever
She must have been quite like me then.
Possibly. But no, she was, even as a child, you know, she was just so loving, giving, wanting to help all the time. You know, she was always kind of that way. And then even when my next daughter came along, the two were like thick as thieves. You know,
really?
they two.
What was the age gap between them?
2 years.
2 years.
Aye. So they two were like, you seen one, you seen the other. You know, and she always mothered her. She mothered all the children. She was just to put her into words. It's just it's quite difficult because there's not a word out there you can kind of describe her. But no, she was just perfect, absolutely perfect. She thrived in life. She was just everyone she turned her hands to. She was really good. She was great at retaining information, instruction, things like that. Good group of friends growing up in life. You know.
So how was she in school? Was she a good person, or
she was
very
very
bother
bubbly
sometimes?
No, she was a character at school. Full of life. You know, she was again like Demi was the type. See if she's seen see a kid left out, she would go to them and involve them into things. You know, she never liked to see MD kind of left out. You know, it was just a nature. But she was just the most sweetest girl growing up.
So then she would have left school and went on to do other things. What did she do when she left school?
When she left school, Carol, she went to college.
All right, okay.
She'd done her HNCs, HNDs.
And what?
What would you call that now? She wanted to be a pharmacist.
Oh, right,
That's why she went to do all these things.
Right, okay.
Originally she wanted to be a doctor.
Right.
And then she decided then she wanted to be a pharmacist.
Right, okay.
While she was at college, she had met a doctor friend.
Right.
Who was into upgrading her courses or whatever it was. And she became friends with this girl and a couple of her colleagues and stuff. So she was in a quite good wee circle.
Right.
You know, and that's when she started getting introduced into going like out for
So she was
meals
smart then?
She was very clever. Demi was actually a straight A student. She was private schooled.
Was she?
Aye. And she
That's quite unusual in Airdrie, isn't it?
Definitely. But no, she was, she excelled in everything. So she did. When she left, she volunteered in the hospital as well.
All right.
So she did.
So she was really caring then.
She was.
Because you need to
really
be
was.
a caring person to volunteer in a hospital and do all these things. And obviously she's been drawn to help and heal others.
Aye, absolutely. But even when she left college, she went into, what was that job? She worked for a company at first, was Oil Fast. I'm sure that was her first job.
Right.
It was just office work and things like that. They wanted to get her forklift licence. And
that's a bit different for being a doctor, isn't it?
Yep. And do you know what? She passed it in the first day.
All right,
So
okay.
she actually learned how to drive the forklift in her dad's yard. And she was driving up and down and she got all the, you know, everything right, and she went and she passed it right away. She got her car licence, all that kind of stuff.
Cool.
And then she went and worked in a telecommunications place as well. I can't remember the name of that.
So she's done a variety of things after school.
She's absolutely has.
So then we fast forward again, and she may be having boyfriends and getting into relationships and stuff like that. And so this story revolves around somebody that she met.
Well, what happened was she was in a relationship before him.
All right, okay.
She was absolutely in love with this boy, head over heels. And then we don't know what happened. You know, Demi got her own house, her own place and everything. And then they kind of fizzled out.
Right.
Then she had went on and met this boy.
Okay. Can we name this person?
Yes.
Aye, because things have happened.
Absolutely.
So his name is
Andrew Brown.
Andrew Brown.
Yeah.
So Debbie met Andrew Brown. What age was she when she met him?
She was only 17, 18.
So she was really young then.
She was still young.
And what
He
age
was
was
a bit
baby.
older, wasn't he? He was a good 10 years older.
7 years older than her.
7 years was it?
Right, okay.
Yeah. But see, to look at me, it looked younger.
Yeah, he didn't.
Do you know what I mean?
They didn't look at a place together.
Don't get me wrong, when she told us about him, you know, we were like, right, okay, you know, let's just see how things go. Turned out then he had a child to a previous relationship.
Oh, did he? All right, okay.
As things were going on, he didn't seem to show us anything untowards. If anything, he was a pleaser. We actually treated this boy like a son. He helped in the yard, he would do anything for you, came in for meals, Christmas time.
So you liked him at that point?
Absolutely. Cause
Did your husband like him?
Aye, because he never really showed anything like for us not to kind of dislike him. And Demi, you know, never showed anything either.
You just want them to be, if they're happy and she's a clever girl, you're taking her word for it.
Well, we thought she was wise enough, you know, because although Demi was academically clever, I don't think she was clever in a sense of knowledge. Where relationships
kind of streetwise, kind of
she was
that
never
way.
See, I think my youngest daughter's a wee bit like that at times. I think she's moved on from being like that now, but when she was 17, 18, 19, I feel she was a wee bit like that as well.
It's still immature,
so I can
I think.
understand that.
Yeah,
Aye,
definitely.
like academically there and in the
Aye,
corner.
absolutely,
But when it comes to relationships, a wee bit like
naive kind of.
like a fish out of water type thing.
Definitely.
So anyway, she got into a relationship with Andrew, and then this relationship would have progressed. Looking back, thinking back, there was nothing untoward that you noticed.
No, absolutely
Did
not.
her personality or anything change?
Towards the end,
Right, okay.
more so I would say. See, we put it down because she just had a baby at that point.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're fast and forward.
We're going too
what
fast.
age was she when she had her first child?
Oh, Demi was 19, I think.
And how was she with that child? What's her granddaughter's name?
Oh, Bailey.
Bailey.
Aye.
So she had Bailey when she was 19.
Well, going into nearly 20. I'm just trying to kind of count back the kind of the time, because she's 5 now. Demi was only 23 when she died.
So see this Andrew, what age was his other child then when he started going out with Demi?
She was about maybe 3 or 4, I think.
And did he take to do with her? Like, was she in his
Well,
life?
what we were told was that she wasn't, because he wasn't paying maintenance or something, right? Then we were told that Demi paid all his maintenance for him.
No way.
For him to see his child.
Was it a daughter? Did you say?
Yep. And he was only allowed to see that child at his grandmother's.
Right, so supervised.
Yep. Whether that was the case or not, I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
But he was going up there. And then a few times the child was come down to Demi's.
Okay.
When Demi and Andy had moved in together.
Okay.
So Demi would, the child would be there.
So she must have thought this was going to be long term if she's
Absolutely.
involving his wanting them to be a family.
And so did we. We thought, right, they're becoming
Did
a
they
nice wee
live in
family.
Airdrie beside you?
They stayed in Cairnhill they stayed about a 5-minute drive from us.
All right, okay.
Yeah. She stayed actually around the corner from her sister, Caitlin.
Okay.
Literally a stone throw away. Because they were quite close, they two.
So then she fell pregnant again,
She did.
and she's already got a baby, and she falls pregnant again.
Yeah.
And so what's the age gap between the two children?
Just under 2 years.
That's a handful, isn't it?
Absolutely,
For
absolutely.
anybody. So she's got a baby and a toddler.
Yep.
And so she would only be young herself, and so she's got her hands full.
Yeah. But do you know, Carol, Demi was a natural mum. She really was. Because she mothered all her siblings. Like Demi would come down and say, right, Mum and Dad, I'm going to take the children out. She would take them to the park, to the zoo, to the shows. Even through the summer, she was just so hands-on. Even with, she taught Bailey everything, from counting from like her ABCs, counting from 1 to 10. Bailey's quite clever. She's like her
Very
mum.
good.
The baby, she was only 11 weeks old at the
So
time.
was the baby born in lockdown? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Which was a hard time.
Aye,
as
definitely.
it was.
But Demi was in our house every day in life
Yeah.
with the children.
So by the time she's had the second child, so the toddler, and she's got a child. What was the baby's name?
Brianna.
Brianna, that's nice. I sometimes call my boy's called Brian. I sometimes call him Brianna, and we do for a laugh, right? Just to wind him up. But anyway, so at that point she's young and she's got 2 kids. Was there any signs that anything was wrong at that point?
No, when Demi was kind of a wee bit moody and things, we just put it down to being, a young mum with these 2 children. She just had a baby. Your hormones are all over the place.
They was down at lockdown.
Absolutely.
As well. It was a hard
I know
time,
more than
wasn't it?
most. I've got 7. You know what I mean? So I understand. You can be tired and doing the night feeds and things like that. But we just didn't see anything at all.
And so she still came to visit you all the time?
Constantly. She was never
Constantly.
out of our house.
And so, do you know, that this story kind of fills me with fear, because I would like to think that my daughters, because I've got 2 daughters as well, and I would like to think that if anything was wrong or anybody was physically, mentally, sexually, verbally abusing them, that they would say, here, Mum. I would like to think also, and you're probably the same,
Absolutely.
that if my oldest child, if anything happened to her, I think she's quite mouthy, and she would, but you never know what you're going to say until you're in that situation.
Absolutely.
But I think that I would hope and wish that I've brought my kids up that they would deal with that.
Yeah.
And so I know that it's sometimes hard, even for the strongest women, to deal with abuse within relationships. So that's what we're going to talk about now.
Yeah.
So when was the first point that you realised that Demi had been in an abusive relationship?
Right, so basically what happened was, it's dead hard.
I know.
When we got, excuse me, that morning we were ready to put the kids out to school, and we got a horrific phone call from Caitlin.
Who's Caitlin? Your
The younger sister.
My second daughter.
Okay.
And she stayed just next to her, didn't
Just
she?
round the corner. She's hysterical on the phone. She's literally screaming the place down. I couldn't understand, what she was saying. The phone had cut off. I phoned her back and saying, Caitlin, what's going on? And that's when she says, no, Demi was dead. We were like, the whole world just collapsed.
So how did you feel at that point?
Oh God, world ended.
I
That's the
know,
worst
I
phone call you
know,
could take in your
I
life.
know.
Sorry.
That's all right. I know.
So I run into her dad, and I'm shouting to him. He's scrambling. We're running out the door, trying to get to Demi's. We just couldn't take it in.
Yeah.
As we got outside, the police had just pulled in. We were reversing out the driveway. Sorry.
Sorry.
I promised myself I wasn't going to do this today.
I know.
When we got to the driveway, the police had pulled in. I jumped out the car. I says, is it true with my daughter? He says, yep. I think I'd collapsed. I think my partner had to lift me back out the house. The police came in.
So were you allowed in the house at that point?
No, we were at our own house at this point.
Right,
we were
okay.
just
Hadn't made it out the drive.
driving out the driveway.
Made it out,
Never made it out the drive. They had. I think my partner actually slammed the door in their faces. He didn't mean to.
Yeah.
I remember my partner running into the room. He was on the phone to his brother, and I ran back to the front door. I got all the rest of the kids up the stair out the road. Brought the police in, and they just says, "Are you okay?" I couldn't even drink a glass of water. I was all over the place. And then they'd asked me if there was a possibility Demi was postnatal.
I said that, you didn't I?
Yeah.
I said they'd say that.
At that point, I'm going, don't know. I've just been told my daughter's dead, and you're asking me questions and I haven't got an answer to it.
Even if I'd been asking you that question now, would you say that Demi could have been postnatal?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely
See,
not.
I never suffered from anything like that.
Aye.
So
no, I know for a fact Demi wasn't postnatal.
Okay.
So then afterwards, the police had left, and we got a phone call from my daughter Caitlin's partner to say that Andy had. What happened was, Caitlin had Bailey the night before.
Okay.
Right, having a sleepover with her daughter.
Okay.
Right.
So she's got her niece. She's babysitting her niece.
Aye. So she's a sleepover with Ava Louise.
And that's the oldest one, Bailey?
Aye.
Right.
And then what happened was the police had took Andrew Brown and the baby.
Okay.
The baby was only 11 weeks old, round to Caitlin's to drop him and the baby off because he says he wanted to collect Bailey,
Right.
the oldest child. The police dropped him off and they drove away. But instead what he did was he went in, he brought the news to Caitlin. It wasn't the police or anything like that. He went in and brought the news to Caitlin.
So was Andrew telling Caitlin your sister's died?
Yep.
I think this is wild that the police would even drop him off.
Yes.
Would he not be... I know they weren't treating it as suspicious then, but still, take the guy in and question him.
Absolutely.
Drop the baby, the sisters were other sibling, and take him down.
I always maybe wrongly presumed that when somebody died, it was a suspicious death until they found out for sure what the cause would be.
Yep.
So they've seemed to say, all right, they believed at the time that your daughter had committed suicide.
Yes. Yep. On his word.
Because he said so.
Yes.
Now, I know it's something that would be really hard for you to talk about, but can we say why, how it happened? Because this is quite relevant.
Right, so they say that Demi had died by hanging.
Okay.
Right. When the police got there, he was overly hostile.
Okay.
To the point where he wasn't letting them in the house. That's what we were told by the police. Which apparently was put into their notes.
Okay.
When they got in there, the paramedics were there, but Demi was laid on the ground. Okay. They had worked on her or something, and then she was pronounced dead at the scene. But when the police never questioned him, they didn't even take a statement. They took admissions from him. Okay. They didn't even do a background check on him. They just took his word and dropped him round at my other daughter's house.
So, and again, I realise how harrowing this is sound, but anybody watching may be asking the same question. So, Debbie had allegedly, we now know that that's not correct, right? But Debbie had allegedly at the time ended her life by hanging.
Yeah.
And so, where was the rope? Who brought her down? Did he come out with a story about this?
His stories were all over the place. Nothing. He wasn't. He was telling different people different things.
That's why they should really took him in straight away.
Absolutely.
Because when they start like that going to your daughters,
we every time we were start at the beginning, right? So basically, he abandoned the children at Caitlin's, right, and just disappeared and left the children there. So the children got brought down to us. The police had phoned and says that the wheels of the prams were still in the back of the van where we dropped the wheels off, and I says, well, drop them off at ours because the children are here. Okay. The police came down, asked us how we ended up with the children. Says, well, you just left them with Caitlin's partner. So they then decided to put the children into our care. Okay. So that was that. And then time was going on. We never heard from Andrew Brown for days on end. And then when we finally got him, his stories just weren't adding completely.
So you had his 2 children and never seen him
for days
after his partners just passed?
Yep. We had social worker coming in.
What, surely the police would have been like that?
I know.
Where is this guy?
I think that's why they did put the children into our care.
Can I just go back to the day when this happened? Did Andrew Brown tell the police that he cut her down or he took her down, or
apparently he had to cut her down?
Okay. So there would have been evidence of that. Did the police take evidence of that?
I couldn't tell you. They never told us anything. Excuse me. All what happened was about 2 weeks later, we managed to get into Demi's iCloud, right? Not iCloud, what do you call it? Messenger.
Yeah.
By breaking our passwords and stuff on another device.
So did the police not even take anything from the house? Like, you think they'd blast it's a girl's phone here so we can maybe... they're coming to you
would
saying...
You would think, but they didn't.
even asking you saying, did she maybe have postnatal depression? If you take somebody's phone, everything about their life's on it, especially nowadays, especially lockdown, about then.
My daughter Caitlin found Demi's phone smashed up under her bed.
Under a bed in Demi's house?
And under Demi's bed.
So you get access to her house, you went into her house?
No, we get the keys back that day.
Oh my.
Within hours. Matter of hours. So we did.
Oh, that's crazy.
But when we went up to the house...
so MD could have went in and out that house after?
I definitely...
so he could have went back in that house himself?
We believe he had a key.
Right.
We believe he had a key. But when we went back, as I say, Caitlin had found her phone smashed up under the bed.
Do you think he smashed it or do you think Demi?
Oh no, he smashed it. He admitted to smashing the phone.
All right, okay.
Why was he not clever enough to take the phone with him?
No idea.
Maybe he didn't know where it was.
No idea, but apparently there was an argument in the middle hours in the morning. The timeline surrounding Demi's death does not add up at all, which we've pointed out this to police so many times. There were stuff in the house that me and my partner came across, which we notified the CID immediately with. Weren't interested, just kept saying we've got everything we've got.
What kind of things?
Well, punch marks in the fridge for a start, our hair all over the kitchen floor. Just...
I can't believe they never picked up on all this.
Yeah.
Would they not search
blood
the house?
speckles on walls. Just...
All right, okay.
It was... You couldn't even...
Sounds like a crime scene.
You couldn't write it.
Did you get to view her body?
No.
Why?
No idea.
Did you ask?
I don't think we did. I don't think we did at that time. Our heads were that much a spin.
I know, I get that.
You know, we just couldn't even
And what
comprehend.
What date was this again? Was this 2020?
No, that was the 13th of May, 2021.
The thing is as well, there was still a lot of restrictions in place.
Yep.
What run about then?
Aye. Well, so basically what happened was when we finally entered our phone, it wasn't her phone, it was on another device, through Facebook and Messenger. And we came across messages.
To who?
From him to Demi.
Oh, right, okay.
And these messages are the most vilest messages you could possibly ever come across.
Were they like calling our names and things like
just
that? Okay.
Absolutely disgusting.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I seen some of them quoted in an article.
Aye.
And I just thought, imagine having to read
that's just a
about
snippet.
your daughter.
That's just a snippet of what you've read. So we were absolutely alarmed. We were like, what is this? Why is he speaking to her like this? You know, because we
never had a clue about this.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So again, my partner had enough because the police weren't doing anything. My partner says, right, that's it. We're writing to the Crown.
Was there other messages to other people?
Demi
did she tell friends what was going on or anything like that?
That morning, Demi was phoning around friends.
All right, okay.
For help.
Okay.
She did get one person, 2 people. She was mailing one person a friend, and then another friend she got hold of and pleading with him to come down and move him from the house.
Was this early hours of the morning?
Yes.
What morning was it? What day was it?
The 13th of May.
And was it it was a weekday, wasn't it?
It
Because you
was
said you were about to take the kids to
Thursday,
school.
I think.
Right, okay.
It was a Thursday.
So early hours of a weekday morning, she's crying out for help.
So there was obviously all this evidence that was pointing to a different lifestyle that you didn't know.
Yeah.
was happening. So
Definitely.
things were going on behind closed doors. And sometimes women don't want to voice things that's going on within their life because they're embarrassed. They don't want
very
their
hard when you get
parents to
kids.
know, you know, but sometimes they open up to good friends and stuff like that. So you found all that. So then that must have been going through your head. Like,
Yeah, we were more confused than anything else. We just couldn't understand why these messages, why he was speaking to her like that, why he was doing that.
And she just did a wee baby.
And
Like,
you're going,
that
what's
should
going
be-
on here? And we were kind of questioning. So when
did you then decide to go to the police with this evidence?
But no, we told the police about it.
All right.
And then my partner, we felt as if the police weren't doing anything.
So they were ignoring you.
So how
Aye.
long after did you find the phone once Demi had passed away?
Caitlin found the phone, I think it was maybe a week
So it was
later.
it's
Maybe even days later,
it
maybe.
was still dead close. to it just
Absolutely.
So what did
happening.
this guy Andrew say to you when it eventually turned up? Did he say, I want
No,
my
he didn't
kids?
turn up, but he phoned.
didn't he?
He phoned, I wanted the children. He says no. I says, because obviously we came across these messages. I was like,
All right,
we
okay.
were so angry. And then the social workers were involved. They told us that we had to allow him some sort of access, supervised, right?
But then why are they even saying supervised if the guy's done nothing wrong?
Absolutely.
I mean, if that happened to you, would you know about that straight away? My partner's just passed horrifically. I want my kids.
Aye.
Like you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You'd want comfort. You'd
Well,
want to be with her. You'd want to be with your family.
Absolutely.
What's his family like? Do you talk to
His
them?
grandmother, his mother. Oh, this is a good one. This, his mother passed away when he was only, I think, 2 or something.
Right.
Now, he told us that his mother had passed by suicide.
All right.
Now, I'm an admin for Missing Persons Scotland, and I had contacted a friend from the admin team, and I asked her to do a check for me.
And was this before or after Demi passed?
This was after. And she did a check for me, and it turned out his mother died of sepsis.
Oh, so
No
he made that
idea.
story up.
Now, there is his mother and my daughter share the same birthday, which is the 4th of the 9th. So Demi was the type that would just be enough. The stars are aligning.
Yeah.
We're meant to be. You know,
This is my soulmate.
That is soulmate, absolutely. This is where the connection that I think, you know, that she kind of drew to him.
So was he
It was
brought up
just-
by his grandmother then?
His grandmother brought him up. His father never raised him.
And is what kind of person is she?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know.
I have no idea.
And did he kind of know her? Well, obviously
He's
knew her,
a
but
granny's
did he-
boy.
Right,
You know,
okay.
he was always
Okay.
his granny's gran. I
So-
think I've met her maybe about, I could count in one hand.
So really, yous probably would have been his go-to family, like
Yeah, definitely.
the most people present in his life.
Absolutely.
He's just lost his partner and he doesn't come near for days. I
Yep.
just think that's such a red flag.
Aye, definitely.
So did you go and see the children when they get supervised visits?
yeah, it was through my sister.
right,
She
okay.
did supervise. Even at that point, he showed no interest. Just crying. He was crying and trying to talk to my sister more than anything else, trying to get his points across. And my sister like, you're here for your children.
Yeah, don't.
You know, spend your time with them. He just showed no interest. And then on the second visit, I think it was, he was supposed to have an hour and a half, and he was here half an hour and just left with his father. And I was like,
Right, okay.
right, well, this is ending. Which I told the social workers, I says, he's not interested at all. I
And there's
says,
definitely something going on here.
Aye, absolutely. So then what happened was we told him to stay away from the funeral. But he came anyway, he was on the background. So then was laid to rest. And then,
Did they do a post-mortem
yes.
on Demi before she passed? Okay. And did the post-mortem show up anything?
Just again, like, his conclusion was that she died by hanging. The writing where he's got the last time he saw Demi was before midnight on the 12th of May, whereas we know for a fact he was seen with her at 5 o'clock in the morning.
And did the neighbours not hear an argument?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aye. Mm-hmm.
And that was after 12 o'clock.
Aye. Well, she was on the phone to a school friend at 4:40 then her phone had went dead.
Okay, so pathologists can tell the time of death. So did he say the time of death on her death certificate?
The time of death, I think, was paramedics 7:55.
In the morning.
6:55. Sorry,
6:55 that morning.
6:55.
Okay.
5 to 7.
So if she's been on the phone to her friend at nearly 5 a.m. and paramedics have turned up.
No, but she was seen at 5 o'clock.
Oh, she was seen at 5 o'clock. So therefore she must have died some point between 5 o'clock and 7 a.m.
Yep.
So within that 2-hour time scale. And so did that tie up with what the pathologist said?
No, because the pathologist had, the last time that Andrew Brown apparently seen Demi was before midnight. That Demi just went upstairs and went to her bed.
I know, but how can he surmise that or just believe him?
Because the police took his admissions.
Okay. When did things start to turn around?
Right.
When did the police start to say, here, wait a minute, we may have got this wrong?
The police didn't. This is what I'm trying to
Okay.
say.
Fight.
So basically what happened was, after Demi was laid to rest, we got a phone call the next day from social workers saying that Andrew Brown and his father were on creating murder with the social work, demanding that they come and remove the children from us, and they were getting the police involved, that they've kidnapped our children and all this nonsense, right?
Right, okay.
But we were, we just about buried our daughter, and we says, do you know what? We says to those workers, we're taking the children and our children and ourselves away for a few days. We need to get away.
And for the kids' sake.
Absolutely. They says, that's not a problem, as long as we're kind of local. We went to River Drennan. So we went to River Drennan, I think, so right away we went on the phone to a solicitor, to get things in his dick put in place. He couldn't come anywhere near the children. So we were away for about 10 days maximum, I think it was. And then they said, right, that was it in place, so we came back home. When we came back home, my partner and 2 of my other children, Sarah and Ella, they had went down to the graveyard, down to Coltswood to see Demi with her father. I stayed back at the house unpacking and dealing with the younger children. They were a wee while and they came back, and I was still in the porch area doing the washing when my 2 daughters had come in. They got upset. I says, what's wrong, girls? I thought it was just down because they first have seen the grave since she was laid to rest. And they says that they've seen how the state their dad was in at the graveside, and they started to tell me what they had witnessed over the years between Demi and Andy.
So this was your 2 young
daughters.
kids?
Yep.
Had witnessed stuff?
What age were your daughters?
They were, oh God, wait a minute, so Sarah's 17.
I think you said, was it 9 and 14 or something you said? 9 and 13?
No, Sarah's 17 now, so just over 3 years back, so it's that 14, and Ella's 13, so she was about 10 years of age at that time.
So they'd went to the graveyard and they'd opened up to your partner
I
about
think
what they'd
reality
seen.
had kind of had set in with them, and they broke down to me and they told me things, and I says, right, look, I says, I'll go and speak to your dad. I says, go and go out to the shop, get your sweets and whatever.
Yeah, distract them.
So I went in, I told my partner, I says, when the girls come back, John, you need to sit them down. I couldn't even hear it. It was absolutely just, it was disgusting. It was all this salt
So Andrew had done things in front of them?
Yeah.
What kind of things?
Strangling her.
Choking her in front of them?
Yep, spitting on her.
In front of a
Did he hit her?
9-year-old and a 13-year-old?
In front of the children,
So he didn't care that they were there witnessing this?
No. He would...
And the thing is, they must have been scared shitless.
Yeah, they said they were terrified.
Because I know if it was my daughter, because we don't hit each other in my house. Like, I've never hit my husband, he's never hit me, and vice versa.
Vice versa.
So I know
as well.
if my youngest was to see that, she'd be terrified. Because I remember being on holiday one time and hearing, no even seeing, a man hit his wife, and I went in next door, and she's like, Mum going in, he's hitting her. And she was terrified, and we were in the room next door, and so I know that kids at that age would have been...
Oh, he says that they were terrified.
Were they told not to say anything?
Yes.
By
Demi.
Demi.
Yeah.
God
Demi
love her.
was petrified her dad would find out.
Yeah.
I think Demi, I truly believe I think she did love him.
Yeah.
But
when you've got kids to somebody and you want your family to be a family, when you've grown up in a close family, that's what you want for yourself.
Absolutely. She wanted to have the kind of perfect family and the perfect
Plus,
life.
you don't want people to know that there's things going on behind closed doors. You would feel embarrassed.
Mortified.
All that,
yeah,
you know.
And every time, she would always say to us, he's a great guy, Mum and Dad.
So how did you feel when your girls told you these stories?
Oh, we were absolutely devastated. We couldn't believe it.
Did you have an inkling? Did you say to yourself, I knew that?
With the messages, I thought, right, this is all now starting to make sense.
Did these two young kids of yours know about the messages?
No.
No, so they didn't even know that you had any inkling that he had another side?
No, they just... I think it was
They've probably been chatting to each other as well, saying,
absolutely,
you tell Mum, no, you tell Mum, no, you need to tell Mum.
Will we say something, will we not say something?
There would have been all that going on as well.
Absolutely. So when they came back from the shop, I said, right, girls, I've told your dad, go in and tell. I couldn't even stand about, I couldn't even hear the rest of it. I was just literally felt sick to the pit of my stomach, and I was so angry. Tears were flowing from me. I was like shaking, and my partner, he was just like, what the hell? You know, he was shocked to the core.
So you heard all that information. Did you go back to the police at that point?
Yep.
And did you make them listen?
Yep, we went back to the police. My partner also wrote to the COPFS.
Okay.
We wrote everything down.
So he sent them emails, and he went in person and sent emails.
Yes.
What did the police say about the messages when you contacted them?
Well, this is the thing. So we got correspondence back from the Crown saying that they were going to send officers out.
Right.
Okay. So they did. They sent out two CID officers. It turned out one of them was actually a attending officer that morning to Demi.
Right.
All right. So he's got prior knowledge then?
She. Right?
She has got prior knowledge.
Now, when she was in, and she was in with her colleague, we were telling them everything that we know, what we've came across, what we've been told, blah, blah, blah. And the other one, this is what where's the evidence? My partner turned and said, sitting in there on the couch, talking about our two children. We just kind of went like that.
Eyewitnesses.
We can't interview them because we're children. Says, well,
yes, they can in front of their parents.
Yeah, well, they say they couldn't.
You can.
So they say they would take my statement first, before they would take John's. So while I was getting my statement taken in the kitchen, the other one says it's okay if I can't speak to Sarah.
Oh, that's not allowed.
I says, no problem. So she went in and she came back out. She didn't know where to put herself.
She's not actually allowed to do that, by the way, with a minor, without a responsible adult being there.
I don't think they should either sent her out if she had been present on scene after it happened, because really the evidence you've got there on the mobile phone, they should have picked up on.
But we told them, that we had the phone. We actually put it into a shop to try and get it sorted. We told them where it was. They weren't interested. They wouldn't even go for the phone at all. We kept begging them, pleading with them.
They were quite happy to just brush it under the carpet.
Absolutely.
So case closed.
How did you eventually get them to take notice? So how did they go and get the phone, and how did they change it?
They still haven't went for the phone.
Oh my God, no way.
Still haven't went for the phone. So basically what happened was they got all these witness statements. They went and spoke to the school friend. They've spoken to my daughters. They've spoken to me and my partner.
So they've got multiple witnesses by this time that says he's assaulted her. Did he...
apart from one witness, but they wouldn't go and speak to, it was a friend of Demi's.
And have they not spoke to him still at this point?
No, right?
Oh my.
So there were things that we came across that we gave to
can I just ask you, going on just to get it clear in my mind, so he verbally abused her, physically abused her. Did he sexually abuse her?
No. I was going to get to that, right?
Right, okay, sorry, we'll wait for that. But so he's verbally and physically abused her, and there's witnesses, and there's photographic evidence, and there's text messages. So there's a shitload of evidence happening here.
And more.
And the police are ignoring you.
There's things I can't discuss on here today because
that's fine. I understand that because there's still an ongoing case.
Absolutely. But the way the police have handled this has been absolutely shocking.
So you must be raging.
Oh, aye.
I would be raging.
But me and my partner are livid. But
well, how can you lay somebody to rest and move on with your life when you've got no justice.
Absolutely. Even with the fatalities, we got a fatalities meeting, and it was like, we can't go back. Her words were, because of the confines of the law, they cannot go back the way. That's what we were told.
But then how can you move forward?
Yep, exactly. So then my partner, he was jumping up and down. He's been researching. My partner's a studier. He researches everything, right? Because we didn't understand the risk of
Same, my man would be the same. It's like Google.
He's the same as he's YouTube and Google mad. But
any book for dummies.
But but we didn't understand the depths of abuse. We're going, what is this?
Well, that's the thing is, see, like myself as well, if you're knowing that abuse, an abusive relationship, you don't really understand it. There's maybe ways you can relate to it at certain times, like, but not really until you're in that depths of that.
But when we look back, we're going, we didn't see it. We didn't see it, and it's like, I don't know.
But then with Demi only having one previous serious relationship before that, in her head she might have thought this may well be normal? Part of
I know, exactly.
a relationship. She's probably thinking to herself, not every relationship's perfect, and this is the wee downfalls of my relationship.
Absolutely.
We've got 2 kids. When he's good, he's good.
Aye.
But he's obviously brain. I mean, it's mental
absolutely.
abuse.
So again, the police come out. They're still refusing to look at the evidence. Did they go and so they went and interviewed some of these witnesses?
Yeah.
And what did they do with the interviews? What came of that?
So basically, what happened was, so they were gathering all the kind of the statements and things like that, right? And then the children were took down to Blantyre to give their no statements.
What's Blantyre? Is this a police office?
It's like a police office, social work, that type. I think it's like police social work.
A soft environment, maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, okay.
Look for children and things like that, where they're recorded and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That took a few days on each child to get interviewed.
That must have been a lot for them.
Definitely.
As
well. The thing is, they've been shitting themselves.
Absolutely, they were petrified. They've never been in that situation.
And
in
if
their
they've
life.
seen him doing that to her, being young kids, and he's still on the loose, you would think, is he going to come for us if we open our mouths?
Do you know, it's our children know they're safe. Do you know what I mean? But
do they? There's always this but at
I
the
know
end.
but
It's a wee bit like my dad will murder him and he'll get the jail. So will I tell my dad because I know my dad's going to kill him?
Yes.
But that's what happens in a child's mind. Even though your husband may not actually go and physically kill this person, in their mind it's like he could do that.
Aye.
And also they're thinking Demi told us not to say it, and are we being
see, Demi was she was the ultimate daddy's girl. She was our daddy. It was like with John's absolutely, he's not himself anymore.
Aye, we're broken man.
Aye, he's they two were like 2 peas in a pod. So they were the laughter, the quirkiness, the jokes, the carry on, and and it's
same in our house.
He'll be
probably same in your
house,
house and all. Because your lassies are quite funny and all, and they're obviously like their dad's
girls. Apart from a wee one, I'm working on her. But it is. But he'll be gutted that. How did she not say to me? But again, she's no one.
Do you know that's the funny thing is, Debbie, right, and Carol, because Demi came down the night before, right? She'd borrowed some money off her dad, and she was in the taxi because her car had broke down at the bottom of the hill. Well, it never broke down; it ran out of fuel, right? And I says to Sarah, "Go and tell Demi, Papa's down at Tesco at the bottom of the hill, fuel in her car, get the taxi down there and get her car." Which she did so. And she said she was going out for a meal or something, or a picture, I can't remember what it was. And normally her dad phones Demi, or she phones her dad, right? But that night, now John never leaves his phone at the side of the bed. He always leaves it in the kitchen on charge for work the next day. And he left the phone at the side of his bed. And he thought, I'll not phone her the night, let her enjoy herself, she'll be exhausted with the children, blah, blah, blah. And he never phoned her. And he never leaves his phone at the side of the bed. And yet he left his phone at the side of the bed.
I know, but you know what? See, looking back, I think all these things happen for a reason.
Look at the person she phoned in the morning. But I mean, what are they thinking? That she begged to go down and get him out of the house?
But that's what my partner says. If she had just phoned
John,
he'd have been there in a heartbeat.
We'd have been there in a heartbeat. I know of it.
But the thing is, it's so sad. She's just trying to protect her own family.
Right, so let's move on a wee bit now. So how did Andrew eventually get charged with this?
So that's the thing, right? So
he's not seen his kids then after after you get back the holiday and they've all gave this evidence.
So the last time he seen his kids was half hour?
Aye, which was a way back.
Before they went their 10-day holiday?
Before Dale was laid to rest.
Right, okay.
So basically, in between that time, he had then, in the middle of the night, went round and smashed my other daughter's windows in.
Caitlin's?
No way.
Caitlin's, yep.
Why?
Because he thought his children were in there, Carol.
Oh, so that's
so
what
why
you
would
do?
you smash windows if you thought your babies were in somebody's house?
Yep.
Surely you would think your own mind, Ma Waynes will be petrified, screaming.
Yes.
Andy's a wee bit older. You think he'd have a wee bit of savvy about him?
But my other granddaughter's in there. Caitlin's granddaughter.
So the house
only
was
a baby.
full of kids at the time?
Yeah, but it was only Caitlin, her partner, and
their
her,
child.
and their child.
Aye.
But for him to come out with a statement like that, because the reason why I done it is because he actually denied it at first. He says we set him up, right?
All right, okay.
This guy's all daft. We set him up, apparently, right? But the Ring doorbell across the road from Caitlin captured him, right? He's on black and white. You see him taking up and putting the windows in.
Thank fuck for Ring doorbells.
Oh, yes.
They get bad press, but
they're good when it comes to it. So what happened was my partner came across him on the Cairnhill Road, and my partner got out the car and shouted, "What are you doing that?" And he came running towards my partner. My partner's with my other daughter, Sarah.
Okay.
She was only 14 at the time.
Who was one of the witnesses to the abuse that he gave your daughter?
He's running towards my partner, and it was like violence. It was like as if he was going to attack my partner. It was like he was like an animal. My partner says, "I've never seen anything like it in my life." And my partner just stepped out the road. He's running into the car. My partner's grabbed him and they phoned 999, to get the police.
Right.
Police arrived. My partner's got
still
holding him. And
Sarah's witnessing this.
Sarah's witnessing it.
Oh my.
The police officer arrived. My partner takes him up and goes, "There you go." Told the police what he'd done. They says, "That's fine. We've got him, John. Just go down the road and we'll be in contact. They'll take a statement." Mm-hmm. So my partner and my daughter left the scene, went down the road, not the scene, where we got him, down the road, and about half an hour, 40 minutes later, 2 police cars pulled up at our house and came in and arrested my partner right out the house. And charged him with assault. He told the police that my partner assaulted him, and my partner didn't assault him.
Yeah, they never arrested him when he was standing there with your deceased daughter. Yeah. They let him just go and back to his normal.
But they took that because as soon as my partner left, he turned and told the police that my partner assaulted him. My partner never laid a hand on him, and it went to court. My partner got no case to answer to anyway.
And poor Sarah again had to witness this.
To witness this again. Yep.
So was she up in court again as a witness for this?
No, that was all part of the indictment.
Oh, right, okay.
No, that charge was put in with the indictment. So what happened was he was lifted, charged and put on this indictment.
At that time?
No, afterwards.
Okay.
Right? So these list of charges, I think it was like 5 charges, I think. And
so did the police arrest him after they'd got all the statements for you?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, but once he'd done all that, but once it went to the Crown and the Crown got it all together, and then he was told to come in or something, and that's when they charged him. And he was put on indictment.
But in that time he's still smashing your other daughter's window and trying to assault your husband?
Yeah. Oh, he was phoning our house, phoning my mobile. Threatening.
And why do they think when he's acting like that, as if you're going to go, right, okay, here, have your kids?
Yeah, I had them recorded and everything, and he was charged with it. He was going to court with it. That was all part and parcel.
So can I ask you, what was the charges? What was he getting charged with?
Right. So the charges were, I'm just now trying to think back now, because they took a plea at the supposedly trial. He was charged with the DASA Act 2018.
What's that?
That's Domestic Abuse Act. That's this new thing they've brought out now.
Right,
it's called DASA.
Uh-huh. Okay.
He was charged, another charge, which was this, oh God, I'm trying to think of the title of this. The Sexual Abuse Scotland Act 2016.
Why was he charged with that?
Right, so when we heard that charge, my partner freaked, right? Mm-hmm. But apparently there was nothing sexual there. It's just because of the act of the 2016, right? So under that umbrella that he was charged, because he's been abusing Demi over 5 years. Okay, right up to the day she died, right up to the morning she died. Right, he admitted to abusing her. Then he was charged with an assault on his oldest child. He was charged with
your granddaughter.
Yep, his
Demi's own daughter, who was 5 years old.
So somebody witnessed that.
Yep.
Okay.
And he was charged with obviously breaking.
No, sorry. So what age was Demi's oldest daughter when he assaulted her? She wouldn't have been 5 then, because she's 5
She's
now.
only been about 9 months.
Oh my.
Yeah, 9-10 months.
And how did they find out about this?
Again, it was witnessed.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yep.
That's horrific.
So
what was the other charges?
Breaking Caitlin's windows.
Okay.
And what was the other one? And was it a Telecommunications Act?
And was
so that would have
messages?
maybe copying things or messaging things. Okay.
So
was that it? Is that what the charges were?
Yep.
So there was no attempted murder, murder, none of that.
None of that.
Just a domestic abuse.
The case preparer who was dealing with our case, who was preparing everything together, even we believe he took our daughter's life, right? And she has said that she believes it, we believe. She's a case preparer, she's putting things together. So when she presented it, she was hoping it would go to High Court, right? But it went to, so what happened was the children had to go and give evidence on commission, right? The children done that, and then a trial date was set. The trial was to start in Lanark, right?
Okay.
They say the reason for not Airdrie is because of the building, they were having works and stuff done at Airdrie Sheriff Court, right? We say that's fair enough. The Victim Support Unit phoned us on the Friday and said that on the Monday, the day of the trial was to start, would only be jury picking and witnesses don't need to attend. But the fiscal would like to meet myself and John, right?
So as far as you know, it was just like a dietary plea. There was no actual trial and all you didn't need to attend.
No.
So this was just a preliminary thing. Is that what you thought in your mind?
No. The trial was supposed to start on the Monday.
All right, okay.
But we got a phone call on the Friday to say that no witnesses or ourselves had to appear at court on the Monday because we're only jury picking.
Right, okay.
So basically nothing's really happening on the Monday.
On the Monday, aye. But the fiscal would like to meet me and John.
Okay.
We says, right, okay. My partner says at the weekend, something's happening.
Aye, because they don't usually ask to meet you unless they're wanting to something else.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So myself and John and my daughter Caitlin headed up to Lanark. We got there. They never got to one of the witnesses to say that he wasn't needed, but he was there anyway, so he just stayed. So we were asked to come into the back room, meet the fiscal, and to be told that they were already in dialogue of a plea, right? And that he had King's Counsel. And the reason for King's Counsel, which was a very clever way how his solicitor done it, because he had pled self-defence against our daughter.
Self-defence for what?
Versus evidence.
Exactly. But he got King's Counsel, and they were in dialogue of taking a plea. We weren't pleased about it. We were in Lanark. It was just me and my partner and my daughter with no family support.
Did you voice this to the sheriff?
No, right. So basically what happened was they took the plea, whatever the dialogue they were in.
Okay.
So we were asked to come out to the court. And when we were in court, they locked the doors. Right.
Well, you were inside the court.
Inside the courtroom. Inside the
Why did they lock the doors?
No idea. It was a closed court. So I didn't want him to hear.
Closed court is usually to protect victims.
Well, I don't know, because it was only...
That's the only reason you get a closed court, unless he said he's in fear for his life.
Possibly,
and that he was getting threats by an ex-person. So that's the two reasons they do. Usually in things like sexual abuse or abuse cases, they would lock the court doors to protect the victim, so that doesn't get out into the newspapers. or to protect the person. Like, if I says I was being threatened by your family and I was in fear of my life, they would lock the court so your family couldn't come in and intimidate me while on the stand.
Well,
so
what happened was, when we went into this room, right, into this courtroom, so there was myself, my partner, Caitlin, and the witness who Demi was speaking.
By the way, it should usually be in the court papers. The reason why they had a closed court, it should be in the court papers.
No, but we've no idea. But all we know was he had arrived with his friend, right, a friend of his. So they sat at the back of us. Sheriff had come in.
So he was out in bail, was he?
He was out in bail. Yep.
Shut up.
Oh yes, twice out in bail, Carol. Just kept rebailing him.
Despite the fact that he's smashing windows and running about like a loony.
And abusing 9-year-old, 9-month-old babies.
And threatening my niece that he was going to slash her and she was next.
But usually they're really strict with ending domestic abuse. Like,
but do you know? Even when he threatened my niece over the phone, he said he was going to slash her and she was next. He was found guilty at court and he got £150 fine
for threats against your niece. On a separate occasion.
On a separate occasion. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. It's and you're supposed to have faith in your justice system.
But he's probably done. Who's to say he's not done stuff like that before?
Absolutely.
And get away with it, and your daughter could have still been here.
Absolutely. That's the thing. Well, that's what I was going to say to you. But we'll go back to. We'll jump maybe into the trial.
I know. So we're in the court, right? And he's been.
What happened was when the CID came out to us, Carol, right, at the house. That's when they told us that he was on a database.
All right.
Previously for domestic abuse against our daughter, right?
Oh, which you didn't know.
So they'd previously attended her house?
Yeah, on many occasions, apparently.
So they've attended her house the morning that he's called in to say that she's passed away.
Two addresses.
So they've came to that house. He's already got a domestic abuse case against him for this girl that's unfortunately lying there deceased.
Yeah.
And they just let him go.
Yeah, because they didn't do background checks on him that morning.
But then that's why they should take him anyway and just say, look, we're taking you in. Yeah. Don't worry about it. It's precaution for them to go in, then check the database and go, here, by the way, that guy that's found her dead has been done before with domestic abuse against her.
But when we say to the police, the CID, bring him in for questioning.
Yeah.
He says there's no point. He'll just keep saying no comment.
Well,
you're like, wow. Do you know what I mean? It's, but anyway, back to the day of the trial. Well, the trial went ahead because he took the plea deal. So the plea what he pled guilty to, Carol, was the two most serious charges out of all the other charges, which was the DASA 2018,
the domestic abuse,
and the 2016 sexual behaviour Scotland Act. I need to get that proper thing with. And the assault on his own daughter was removed as a standalone charge but put into the DASA charge, right?
Why? It's a separate person?
No idea, but they removed. That's how they done it. Apparently, they took as a standalone charge, instead of it being a standalone charge, removed that and put into...
They've done that for future. They've done that. His lawyers made that happen for future if he's going for custody of his kids or something like that.
Yep.
That's why they would have done that.
Yep.
He shouldn't get any custody
no,
if
absolutely
he's abused
not.
a 9-month-old baby.
So basically what happened then was he was called up. We were sitting there. We were absolutely fuming because we had no family support with us or anything. We felt as if we were just totally
put in the spot,
hoodwinked straight into things, right? As if they wanted to keep everything on the quiet.
Did you speak to the sheriff before this trial?
No.
After it? In between when?
No.
But I thought you says they got you up to, the sheriff wanted to...
It was the fiscal that spoke to us.
Oh, it was the fiscal, no the sheriff.
Even when the fiscal, because it was him that told us that they were ready in dialogue. We were like, but you're only jury picking today.
Why is the fiscal telling you this? Did you know of a lawyer at that point? No.
All
right, okay.
No, because the fiscal's your lawyer, apparently in his words, he's not a lawyer, he's the fiscal's lawyer. So we're in the court anyway, so he gets called up and I kid you not, they read out every assault on our daughter was strangulation, and it took 3.5 hours to read out in court.
So he had previously tried to strangle her.
To sit and listen to
So he had
single
previously tried to strangle Demi on several occasions, and that was there in black and white.
Yes.
And that wouldn't have set alarm bells ringing with the police. I can't get my fucking head around that.
What happened was the sheriff actually, what's his name now? Can't remember that sheriff's name. Oh God. Livingston, Sheriff Livingston. He actually turned and says to the fiscal, is the Crown happy in the way this has been marked, right? The fiscal stood up and shrugged his shoulders. He went like that. And the sheriff was absolutely, totally dumbfounded. He was like, what the hell? When he actually stopped the fiscal in his tracks and says, how much more is still to be read out? Mm-hmm. And the fiscal went, 2 pages, Your Honour.
And that was after the 3.5 hours?
No, this is all in total. And the sheriff went, need to take a break, stop for lunch. When we went back in, straight away just continued again, the rest of the assaults on Demi.
Where are they getting this stuff from? Is this the stuff
just
that
all
you
witnesses,
put to
all witnesses.
So was there any of the stuff there that you'd reported, like the messages you had read?
The messages were read out.
And the pictures?
The pictures were all there.
I seen one of the pictures online, and I just thought,
the pictures were there, the messages were there, all the witness statements were there, and then it came to the timelines, right? And talking about the time her phone got smashed up, the time of Demi's death, and the sheriff had went, but this is the same time this girl had died. Mm-hmm. You know,
so they could tell when the phone kind of went dead.
This was the sheriff made comment, Sheriff Livingston, and his King's Counsel shot up out of his seat and went, Your Honour, there's no link between the suicide and the assault, the assaults.
That must have been doing your head
whatever it was.
When they were saying suicide. That would have really riled my blood.
And the sheriff went, like that. So then he says, you know, he put on the sentencing date to the
So do you feel at that point the sheriff thought, this girl's committed suicide?
I think the sheriff thought at that point, but I think...
Or do you think it was sheriff's on the daft, let's face it.
He's seen all that evidence and thinking...
And so do you think at that point he's went like that, hang on a minute here?
Mm-hmm. He clicked right away, there was something not sitting right. But then we were told...
But he has a power to like shift that on then?
Don't know, but because the plea was already taken though. Because he said he was tasked
today. He's been flying taking that plea.
Absolutely.
He's been told to.
Because the sheriff says he was tasked today of accepting the plea.
They've been like, take the two biggest pleas, and then that looks like you're taking one for the team, and we'll move on for this.
Absolutely.
When really, if he hadn't took that plea, you could have carried that
really,
right
they would
on.
have wanted that to go to the High Court. Because if that had went to the High Court, he could have been getting more than 5 years. Because I think it's limited at 5 years. Am I right?
Limited in a
minor court.
No, in a solemn case.
Okay.
It's exactly what it's classed under as a solemn case.
Okay.
It's up to 5 years and no more. So on the day of the sentencing, he was getting sentenced to Airdrie. Sheriff Livingston says that's fine. I'll make myself available to be in at the day of the sentencing. But in the meantime, we'd phoned the case preparer. We were absolutely like, what the hell's going on here? You know, blah, blah, blah. It turned out that everything linking him to our daughter's death was removed from the narrative, right?
Why?
And so he all just then looked at like domestic abuse then, you know, what he was pleading guilty to. So we've got to, on the day of the sentencing, our full family was there. There was not a seat left in the courtroom. We were all sitting. He just showed up with the mother of his first child.
So was she backing
yeah, she's
him?
Supporting him. I don't know if she's back with him or not.
But was she backing his story then?
She must have been. Well, she was there with his grandmother.
Surely she would have been one of the previous domestic abuse victims.
Oh no, because apparently when the police went and spoke to her, they had the perfect relationship. I'm like, well, it couldn't have been that perfect. It says when the two of them were split up. My man went like, I'm not interested in the relationship. I'm interested in my daughter's relationship. You know, he was raging because all we kept getting from the CID, the attendant officer that morning was, I looked after your daughter. As it used to be, Demi was lying in front of you. I looked after your daughter.
Well, that is your job, so...
You know what I mean? And I'm like, well, you couldn't have looked after that well because she's not long
because you could have found that phone that we found.
Absolutely.
So you were all in the court and it's the day of the sentencing and your whole family's there to support you and what happened?
So he's called up, not one bit of remorse, not a thing. Just sat there, like nodding his head doing all this. And the sheriff sentenced him.
Was it the same Sheriff Livingston?
Same Sheriff Livingston.
Because sometimes they kind of swap about.
No, he made himself.
Cool.
The case repairer and the lady fiscal who was there for the two children who'd done the Revenue Commission, they were in attendance. For us. We thought that was really nice of them. It shows that support. Because can't thank the two ladies enough. They've been absolutely amazing. And the sheriff sentenced him to 43 months per charge, but would run concurrent. So on his record, it'll show that he's sentenced to 7 years and 2 months, but really all he does is 28 months for a life. That's what he does.
But then where does that leave you when he comes out?
Right, so basically what happened then...
So that's basically 2.5 years he's getting.
And then if he's good behaviour, he'll probably get less than that.
So basically, when he was sentenced, they didn't even read out his charges.
When was this sentence? When was he in court? When was this?
Just there, the 2nd of May. No, the 1st of May. 1st or 2nd of May. My memory's not great.
So the 2nd of May 2024 he was sentenced?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So what happened was... He just, when he stood up to get led away, he just kind of thinged over at his gran and his, I don't know if it's ex-partner or he's back with her, I don't know. And he was like...
See you in 6 months.
Absolutely. But we were actually asked how we would describe that day, and the only way we can describe that, Carol, is bittersweet, because he's off the streets, which is sweet enough, but it's very bitter.
But you still can't settle.
Yeah.
Yous are
Nah.
the ones doing the time, really.
Well,
so he's currently in prison. Do you know where he is? Where is he?
In Addiewell.
So he's in is that Kilmarnock?
I have no idea. No idea.
That's a new prison, isn't it? I don't know. But anyway, so he's currently serving time in prison for assaulting your daughter for a domestic abuse.
Yeah.
That's what he's in prison for.
Absolutely, yep.
And so you must be livid.
Where does that leave the kids but when he gets out? Sorry.
Well, we're fighting for the children.
Yeah.
Again, I don't want to say too much on this.
I understand.
Because we don't know who's
definitely.
watching. At this time, the children, we've got the children.
I just think it's mad. But
So you've got legal custody of Demi's two kids?
Not legal, we've got them on interim residency.
Okay.
But we've had them since the day our daughter died.
Passed.
He passed away.
So is that on his record, but that he assaulted one of the girls, the babies at 9 months?
Absolutely.
No,
yes.
it's no.
Oh no, no.
It's not.
Right,
because they've merged it.
It's
because
no
they've merged it
record.
into the DASA 2018 charge.
Right, so he's currently in jail. You have the kids. You're still fighting to keep the kids, and you'll still keep fighting to keep the kids. How is your other two daughters now?
Do you know, Carol, when we took them to Lanzarote there, and do you know that's the first we've seen our children actually smile since the day. So I'm going to start off again.
I know.
Smile since the day they found out with their daughter, with their sister.
I know, because at the end of the day, that's what matters, isn't it?
Aye. But Sarah's, she's working now. She's fully working.
Oh, right, okay.
She's midway doing her driving lessons.
Good.
And she's doing brilliantly. But seeing her smile again was absolutely just brilliant.
Has Andrew requested to see his children while he's in the jail? Because you can do that. That can happen.
But
he's
over
not
my
even
dead body,
interested.
he's not interested.
Even when he was allowed to see them, half an hour?
But do you know, an official had actually says to us that they actually described him on meeting him twice, right? And he turned and says to us that he is a misogynist. Says he makes the hair at the back of my neck stand, and that was an official standing at our house and told us that. He says he should not be anywhere near any females, and that's including his children. And they're 3 females.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
So, you know, while he's in jail and everybody's out here and you've got the kids and I take it they're happy, I imagine they will be.
They're
and they're loving
honestly.
the family.
Aye.
Do they call you mum?
The wee one, she calls me mum because I've had her for 11 weeks.
I know exactly.
She don't even know her mum.
But Bailey, she knows her mum.
Oh, good.
She knows her mum. The two of them know their mum.
Aye.
Bailey, she knows us as Nana and Papa. She won't call us mum and dad. We wouldn't allow it anyway because she knows, because she was always, for a baby, always down at earth with Demi, and she knows her mum. She knows her mum's an angel in heaven, and she's upbeat to help other children, and you know that she was needed more up there. And
did you consciously make that happen? Or did the social workers tell you?
No, we consciously made it happen.
Because sometimes social workers say, you know, maybe no, let the kids call you mum and dad. I know that's happened before because of previous clients.
No,
because they
never.
were so young.
No, the social workers they've been great. The social workers,
good.
so they have. They've been really fantastic, and even the health visitors and everything. You know, they've been amazing. Because I think I know every health visitor there too, I think.
No wonder all the names you've got.
Where do you go for here? Right, so what are you looking to happen now? What stage are we at? Because this is taking another twist, this story.
It has indeed.
So this continues. You would think, right, he's got to jail, he's in jail, that's it.
Yes.
But no, that's not enough. So what's happening now?
Right, so the Crown then gave us a meeting with the pathologist.
All right, so this was the pathologist, the person that done the autopsy on your daughter.
Yes.
So you met the pathologist and the procurator fiscal? Is that who's it?
The fatalities unit.
All right, okay.
And the pathologist.
Okay.
And in attendance we had.
Why did they give you this? Why did this come about?
Just came out the blue.
Out the blue, they phoned you up and says, here, we want a meeting?
We don't know if it was down to the media coverage
okay.
from the court with the papers, but again we don't know. We were just surmising at that point.
Okay.
But
do you think maybe they're thinking to themselves, hang on a minute, we've fucked up here?
Do you think
we better maybe cover our own arses before this takes
the person that done the
turn?
autopsy's probably thinking, I don't want dragged down with this. I want to give my evidence across to show
well we had
actual found.
We had our solicitor present. It was just a Teams call. It was all on video link. And
all right, okay, so it wasn't actually me and you sitting here.
It was
so it was all done video with your solicitor.
Our solicitor, myself and John, the fatalities with her, two of them at that screen, and then
the pathologist. So what happened within this meeting?
Well, put it this way, it was very eye-opening. It was. Put it this way,
did you find out things you never previously knew?
No, there were things that were asked and answered, and he conceded a few things. And put it this way, our solicitor was absolutely over the moon.
Good.
Excuse me, he actually called an emergency meeting with us the following morning, and he's right now he's working on things at the minute.
Okay, let's cover this meeting first.
Yes.
Right.
Again, I can't say too much because there's so much
understand
involved.
That. Maybe we'll come back in a future date and discuss
absolutely,
the meeting.
I would love to do that.
So there's things, so just maybe watch what you're saying. So there's things that's happened in this meeting that maybe made you mistrust the pathologist or no agree with his findings?
Yes.
Right, okay.
So they found more on her body?
No, that there were... There's things I wish I could
say,
but I can't.
It's all right. Don't worry, honestly.
Because that's all part of
it. Just a twist.
What have they given you out this?
Right, so basically, we've had the pathology meeting.
Okay.
Have they
admitted any wrongdoings?
Well, they've said that they're open to an FAI. Whereas we would never.
An FAI,
so tell us what an FAI.
Fatal accident inquiry.
That's highly unusual in itself because it's usually high profile cases that get a fatal accident inquiry.
But see, on the first fatality meeting, we were never offered that. We were told because of the confines of the law they couldn't get back to me, and now they've offered. They say they're open to.
So in other words, they're talking shit.
So if they're open to it, I would go the full road.
Well, that's
I would at that point. I would just say, how come that can happen now, but it couldn't happen last year?
Absolutely, that's the questions. It's all getting kind of in place at the minute, and police standards. They've got all the complaints that are in.
So you've complained about the police as well?
Oh yes.
So did you complain about the pathologist?
I think it's all part and parcel.
Okay.
All
so you've complained about how the police have handled this from the offset.
From day one.
For the fact that they dismissed you, the fact that all this is going on. And so I know we need to watch what we're saying. So it's a major online, a major inquiry.
Yeah.
fatal accident inquiry. Accident, I don't even know if accident's the right word.
I know, it doesn't
sit right with me, right? But anyway, you're getting this major inquiry, so I'd be jumping or coals for this, right? So this is good. This is good closure. This is something you need. What do you hope that can come out of this?
Well, what me and John is hoping for is that they open it back up.
Okay.
And they go and charge him properly.
Are they allowed to do that?
I don't know. This is the thing.
Because you're just saying that the police turn around and says to you, we can't go back the way.
Well, they're already going back the way.
No. Absolutely. We're hoping police standards actually find something in the report that may allow them to then possibly go in and recharge
Did one of the officers get suspended during the...
No, what happened? That was crazy. Her and her colleague were in our house taking...
So we've got the female police officer that was there when your daughter was found?
Yes, it's the same one.
The attending officer?
Yep, the same one.
Female, well, no name, but we know her name.
Yeah.
Right.
And what happened was, Carol, was she had... the original came out to take John's statement, okay? And John's, how can I describe John? John's quite, he won't miss a beat, right? And in his statement, he again read out all the children, what the children told him, right? She kind of got herself a wee bit worked up. The gentleman officer was in agreement with John, you know, he is going for her throat, you know, blah, blah, blah. She didn't like that. All she kept saying was, but I looked after your daughter and, you know, all this kind of stuff. And
getting a bit defensive, it sounds.
Yep. So John asked her to leave. She left.
Get out of my house.
Yep. She'd left the house and her colleague followed her. I think they had a wee bit of fallout because when they went down back to the station, she went in and reported him for...
not having her back, basically, like taking John's side.
Encouraging. And he reported her for being unprofessional. So she was put on leave for, I think it was either 12 weeks, something along the lines. And then he was then left to...
But did they not find evidence?
Right, so what happened was...
Hadn't been
given to the fiscal. Yes, that's correct.
Did she hold on to it?
Well, what happened was we had given it over to them, and everyone was supposed to go then from there to the fiscal, you know, the case preparer and everything else. And when we brought it up to the case preparer, she's like, I've not got that.
I've seen that.
And we says, well, it was handed over. And when she looked into it, it turned out it was in a folder, in a file. But the fact that the case preparer wasn't pleased because she's like, why is it with you and not with me?
Not with them.
You know, and that was another complaint that went in because they held that back.
So they've offered you this, we're at the stage now, we're getting offered a fatal accident inquiry, right? And so that's all getting dealt with right now.
Yep.
But did you say that did you say that your lawyer had been asking for lots of files and because it's under the data protection?
Right, that's what I was going to get to. I knew there was something else. Right, so since I spoke to you last, what happened was, since the 30th of May this year, myself and John have been requesting the
court files? Charge sheets?
The charge sheets
okay.
For family court, okay? And because when we received the charge sheet through, I had I only had listed the DASA 2018 charge on it and the 3 interdicts put on it for the children. The other charge was off it, right? So we were like, why is that not on this?
Is this the sexual one?
That's the sexual one, right?
Okay.
So we were like, why is that not listed? We need it fully listed in black and white for family court. So we phoned up the case preparer and she says, no, it'll definitely be on the portal. It's maybe just been a miss thing, maybe. We says, right, okay. So we wait. She was in the background, and then we sent an email. We were told to send an email to the solemn clerk's office, right?
Okay.
Because it's maybe on public record anyway, right? So we were like, right, done that, heard nothing back.
How long has this taken?
Well, that's been since the 30th of May, right?
June, July, August, September, 4 months.
Yep.
Okay.
So we got fed up and we're like, do you know what? Leave it to our solicitors and they can maybe get it quicker than we will. So they've been back and forth. So then I spoke to the case preparer on Monday.
Right.
Last Monday. No, last Tuesday.
Okay,
right?
so we're now in the middle of September.
Yeah, so I spoke to the case preparer and I says to her, look, Leanne, you know, we're still not getting anywhere with this information. It's holding back family court. We want to get things moving. Because we've got 2 avenues going here. We've got family court and we've got the legal side of things.
Plus you want all this
we just
done
want it
before
all
he's
sorted
out.
and get the children fully and that's that done. So she's like, oh, leave it with me. I said, our solicitor says something to do with data protection. She went, the data protection team, and she went, oh, I didn't know we had a data protection team. Leave it with me and I'll find out. We says, right, that's fine. So within an hour, Leanne's emailed me an email address, which is the data protection team officer, right? So me and John, we've emailed over, requesting this information, and within half an hour, we got a phone call. The gentleman told us that, the gentleman told us on the phone was that he couldn't give us that information because under the Data Protection and some Act 38 or whatever it was, that's mumble jumble, and that the only way we could get that information is if we raise a court order. So I'm like, this is absolutely just ridiculous. It's a public record. And he says, no, one charges, the other isn't. And I was like...
That's your closed court?
Yes, right.
Were you in at the closed court? Were you sat in there?
But they never read anything out in the court.
They never read it?
All they read out was all the assaults on all the strangulation assaults on Demi.
So they never read out the sexual assault charge?
No, they read out the titles.
But they never elaborated.
But they never elaborated on anything.
How could they get charged with something if it wasn't read out in court?
No idea. That's what we're baffled with. We're like, why wasn't this read out in court? Why wasn't even his previous or anything been read out in court?
They're not allowed to do that until after he's been found guilty, right? But I get that.
Aye.
But that should have been read out fully in court in order for him to be charged with that. I don't get that.
I don't know. But they read out the 2 charges that he pled guilty to, and that's what he was sentenced on, was the two charges. But they never...
So what's happening now then? Are you going to get it?
Well, what happened
Are you going to
was-
go to court to get this?
Yes, aye.
I
But
would as
again,
well.
but Carol, again, so we're paying lawyers to get all this
Yeah,
information, and we shouldn't have to do this. I mean, he's getting what, legal aid, but because we're hardworking people, we're to pay all this. There's no consideration for
And
us.
you've got your daughter. You're bringing up your daughter's 2 kids as well now.
Which we don't get.
So you
any
Which you don't
can't
get anything
even
for.
go to court in their interest and put it in their name and get legal aid because they're minors?
Yeah. That's
Can you
correct.
do that?
No.
All right, okay.
So it's left to me and John to do it all.
But it'll be worth it.
Aye. Oh, definitely. It's, at the end of the day, our priority is the safety of the 2 girls and getting justice for our daughter.
So what do you want the best outcome to be? What's your hopes? What do you hope happens?
The police do their job properly and they charge him with the death of our daughter. As simple as that.
So what do you think, Helen, actually happened that night? What in you and John's head?
We believed he murdered our daughter.
So you think he strangled her to death?
Absolutely. Yep. And he staged.
Yeah, he
That's
staged
absolutely. Yep. And there's things there to back it all
Corroborate
up.
that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, the fact he said he left at 12
And so
o'clock.
has your lawyer told you that this can happen, that he can be recharged with this?
Well, that's what our lawyer's dealing with at the moment.
I know, but surely your lawyer knows if it's
No,
allowed.
because there's things he's looking at. Because right now he's still in dialogue with the police standard, the sergeant at police standard who's dealing with the complaints. He's still in dialogue about the FAI.
Have they given you a timescale for the fatal accident inquiry? Because they said this will happen. Have they said it will happen within 2 years?
No, they haven't given
year?
us a time scale yet. We do
So
know
you
it can
don't
be
know.
lengthy.
And you're already
understand
4
that.
months into that sentence.
Aye, exactly. You know,
So by the time this all happens, he could be back out, really?
absolutely. Yep. But do you know, Carol, we've waited 3 years and him even getting sentenced in the first place.
Yeah.
So
You
he's
know.
been kicking about for
Oh,
3 years.
yes, living his best life.
Putting
In the
windows
same
in,
area where you
assaulting
live?
people.
Oh, he knows where we live. We live.
No, but does he live in the same area?
Yes.
So
no,
yous
no.
could-
He's about maybe a 10-minute drive from
So
us.
really, you could boot shopping and bump into him?
Already have.
Oh,
Already
right,
have.
okay.
Did the Grand National last year.
All right, okay.
Yeah. I was in the butcher's and my wee girl was Erin. was standing outside with a friend's children because he was in the bookies putting, obviously, the Grand National on. And next minute, my wee girl came flying in, petrified, some terrible state, and she was saying Andy's outside. And then when I walked out, he was standing across the road with his other girl, just standing there. And I was like, what are you doing? But what he did was, he walked up the road, the opposite side, crossed over when he seen Erin, looked at her, and then crossed back over and stood and waited at me coming out the butchers. I went and reported him to the police, because obviously he was on bail at this point, and the police couldn't do nothing because Erin wasn't listed on the witness sheet. I thought that is absolutely disgraceful.
So he's actually allowed to approach. He was allowed to approach us at that point.
Seems a bit much, doesn't it?
But even the drop to
because sometimes you can take out interdicts that prevent him from coming within 2 miles a year or something.
Especially when he's put the daughter's windows in and been in an altercation with your husband.
But do you know, even when he's been out in bail and all that kind of stuff, but even when he's broken bail twice, right, that was also part of the plea. They dropped him as well, because the day of his sentencing, I was supposed to be at court that day against him, and I'd asked to the fiscal, Kevin, I says, that day's sentencing, I'm already at court. And he says, don't worry about that, we'll make something work, we'll kind of work round about it. He says, that's fine. And I don't think we were out of Lanark Court, probably even out the main street at that point, when they had already dropped the charges on that.
Okay.
You know.
So going forward, we hope this works out for you.
Oh,
we're going to get you back in for a second part once we find out what happens at this fatal accident inquiry.
Hopefully it's a good outcome.
It will be.
And I hope that you've got a bit of peace and quiet going forward, like even between now and then.
Yeah.
And I hope it doesn't get out in the meantime.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I hope that you see justice done for this.
Yeah. Again, it's all about Demi. It's getting... Demi had lost her voice, Carol, and now she's going to get it back. And I will not rest any of her father. You know,
are you angry at the police?
Oh, aye.
So was I.
I'm so...
I mean, I don't know how you're holding it together. I would be shouting at all social media. Do you know something,
Carol? See, if you'd got me before that holiday there, I was a bumbling wreck.
Right.
For that holiday, I'm more kind of focused in my mind now.
You need to be strong for Demi's two girls.
I just seem more kind of, I don't know, I just feel more different to myself. I'm like, no, do you know what? I'm not being quiet anymore.
No, you're not lying.
And her father won't be quiet either. Right now, John wants to do everything correctly by the police, the lawyers, take advice by the lawyers, and me, I'm different. I want to go into social media and I want to shout it for the rooftops. You know, I want to scream. I want to make sure.
But then sometimes that's how you get the attention, and they think we better do something about this. They're no shoving it under the carpet.
Definitely. I mean, I want to plaster his face all over the world, so no other female ever go near him ever again, to ever go through.
Well, if something had been done about him before, or if people who knew, I mean, nobody even knew about the domestic abuse that had been reported before Demi sadly passed, that could have been prevented.
Really, she could have went to the police under Clare's law and found that out if there'd been previous...
Do you know something, Carol? We didn't even know Clare's law existed. All right, I know it's not Clare's law here, it's England, but it's like 4 initials here. But there's not enough coverage out there for women or men even at that. Because we didn't know what that
the whole
even meant.
situations came as a shock.
Absolutely.
Something...
But even see when you see
IIT... But you know there's new laws out now, as in look at the laws that Stephanie Bonner's got.
Oh, she's done marvellous, hasn't
Stephanie's just brilliant, isn't she?
I love it.
And I can't believe what happened to her boys. So sometimes I put hashtag Justice for Reese under I still do it. And so she's good, and she'll never shut up.
Nope.
They will never shut that woman up. I would have been a Stephanie Bonner, I've got to say, right?
You think of all the people.
I'll always champion her corner, right? Because she's doing it for her boy and for justice. And so the fact that she's getting the police to stand up and listen, and I think yours could be a similar case, you know, as in the police to take notice about where they've went wrong and maybe improve it in the future so that it doesn't happen to another family. Absolutely. But anyway, we wish you well.
Thank you very much.
We look forward to getting you back. And I know there's things we can't discuss in here.
Updated.
But maybe we can discuss it again in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, you'll not shut me up in the second one because I'll be like, shout it from the rooftops,
Helen.
honestly.
Well, we wish you peace and happiness going forward. Brilliant. And thanks very much, Helen, for coming in this afternoon.
Thanks for having me.
And speaking to myself and Debbie. Anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed the podcast today. Check out YouTube and social media for more podcasts going forward. Enjoy your day. Thank you.